joining us. You're on to High Sports over High Television with Sonny Tanguni, where we are going straight away to look into sports update. What are some of those things that have been very, very intriguing in terms of the sports decks or sports in total in terms of Cameroon? We are going straight away to begin with the M10 Elite One playoff, and we are going straight away to start with the M10 Elite One in terms of the classification after match day 3, where after match day 3 it is Young Sports Academy who has not yet been defeated since the start of that particular competition in Douala, where it was a 1 goal during their first game. They actually scored 2 goals in 2 games, and the third encounter, which was very intriguing, is that of Victoria United, who put her or maintain her at the top with 9 points in terms of the classification, and it's followed by Cotton Sport of Garwa with 7 points. Victoria United follows at the third position with 6 points after 3 games played. Column Sportive 4 points, Stade Arena 3 points, and Gazelle FA 1 point. 7th position is Dynamo of Douala with 1 point, and Canon of Yaoundé with 1 point. So far, that is a classification of the playoff, the M10 Elite One playoff that's ongoing in Douala. And away from that, let's look into the play down results equally, and to tell you that the M10 Elite One playoffs is having a different dimensions, especially where we have clubs like PWJ Bamenda, who is still leaping in terms of finding a specific spot in terms of the play down, where they will be battling in terms of the relegation zone. And we're going to wait to look at the results of match day 3 for the play down of the M10 Elite One Championship, where it was Apuches of Fifo that was defeated by Lesasco of Douala 2-1. Bambutus equally picked up 3 points, beating UMS of Loom 3-2. Meanwhile, Aigle Royal was defeated by Avion Academy 2-0. PWJ Bamenda picked up a second draw against Union Sportive. Meanwhile, Fubu Azul equally picked up a 0-0 tie against Fubu Club of the Baham. And that is it in terms of that particular match day 3 results of the MTN Elite 2 play down. And let's go straight away to look at the classification of the play down of the MTN Elite One Championship, where it is Lesasco of Douala. And just to remind you that Lesasco of Douala was at the bottom in terms of the classification after 18 days of play, and where she heads this particular play down competition with 7 points, followed by Union Sportive with 7 points, Fufu Club of the Baham 5 points, RS Fortuna 4 points, Bamboo Tools of Buddha 4 points, Avion Academy 3 points, and at the 7th position it's UMS of Loom 2 points, Fugu Azul 2 points, PWJ Bamenda equally at the red zone with just 2 points after 3 games played, picking 2 draws and 1 defeat. Apuches of Ifu 1 point, and Aigle Royal is number 11 with equally 1 point. And that is it in terms of the classification as of match day 3 of the MTN Elite One play down in terms of that particular those games that are ongoing in Yaoundé. I will go straight away to look at the fixtures for match day 4 in terms of the MTN Elite One, both the playoffs and the play down, where it is going to be a serious debut there for this particular Elite One clubs that are struggling either to maintain themselves or equally to pick up the title. And yes, we start with the playoffs in terms of the MTN Elite One Championship, where it's going to be Gazelle FA that is going to lock horns with defending champions Cotton Sport of Garwa. And mind you that these are 2 sisters clubs from the Northern region, and it's Young Sports Academy that will lock horns with Stade Renard. Another battle to equally reiterate that these 2 sides face each other during the championship, and this is going to be their 3rd encounter for this particular year. Meanwhile, Saturday 6 April 2024 at the Stade Annex of Bona Musadid in Douala, Dynamo of Douala will lock horns with Canon Sportif of Yaoundé. Dynamo of Douala equally will be in pursuit for her first 3 points since the start of this particular players. Meanwhile, the Southwest Side Victoria United will lock horns with Column, and that's going to be at exactly 4 p.m. in terms of that particular game. And the playoffs in terms of Elite One Championship It is going to be another serious battle for, especially for somebody like PWG of Bamenda, to do all it takes to be able to come back to classification, where the playdown is going to kickstart tomorrow, Thursday, the 4th of April 2024. Bambutos of Buddha will play against Lesasco, and that game is going to be played at 2 o'clock at the stadium, at the Omispo Stadium in Yaoundé. And next one, same stadium, 4 o'clock, Union is going to lock us with Apogés of Fufu. Meanwhile, Friday, 5th of April, PWG of Bamenda against Avion Academy at exactly 2 o'clock at the same stadium, the Omispo in Yaoundé. And next one, same stadium, Fufu Club of the Bar, 4 o'clock against Aigle Royal. And on Friday, the 5th of April 2024, UMS of Loom, it's going to welcome AS Fortuna. Meanwhile, for this particular match day 4, it is Fufu Azul that is exempted in terms of this particular match or fixtures. And we'll go straight away to look at equally what's transpiring in terms of the Elite 2. And mind you that the same way the Elite 1 is ongoing is the same way that the Elite 2 is equally unfolding. And we are going to look at the results so far in terms of the Elite 2 Championship after match day 3 of this particular competition, where it is equally, it was a Dragon that picked up a 2-0 victory over and equally Toneka picked up a 1-1 tie over Union Sportive. Mongo, everywhere the Mongo beat up Bafma United 2 goals to nil. And that is the question way to look at the classification in terms of the playoff of the MTN Elite 1 Championship. Meanwhile, at the first position is Panther that is leading this particular playoffs with a total of 7 points after 3 games played, followed by AD Sport with 6 points, and Aigle Royal follows equally 5 points, Jiku FC 4 points, Vasem 4 points, Bafma United at the 7th position with a total of 0 points after 3 games played, Dragon equally 0 points after 3 games played. And at the playdown, we look at the standings in terms of the playdown, where it is Unisport that leads this particular table with 9 points, followed by Yafoot 7 points, RSFAP 5 points, Islovo Sports Academy with 4 points, and Rangers 4 points. The Red Zone finds Poncha Street of Bamenda 2 points, Leopard Sportive 1 point, and Venezans 0 points. And that report tells you that equally 3 teams will be relegated back to divisional level in terms of the MTN Elite 2. And yes, let's go straight away to look at the fixtures for match day 4 of the MTN Elite 2 Championship. Playoff is going to be Tonnerre against Dragon FC at 1:30, and it's going to be played at the Bamensi Stadium over there in the Bafoussam. Panther equally will play against Vaseng at 3:30. Meanwhile, on Friday, 5th of April, Bafma United will be tussling for her first points against Ndiku FC. Aigle Royal equally will play against Eding Sport. And away from the MTN Elite 1 and 2, let's go straight away to have the ambience that have been staged so far by the various clubs. We talk about Dynamo, Unisport, PWG of Bamenda, Victoria United, and Young Sports Academy. Let's see some of the beautiful moments that these fan clubs have been portraying at the various stadiums, be it in Douala, Yaoundé, and equally the West region.
Stop!
have been built there by the fans of the various clubs participating in the playoffs and played. We'll go straight away to look at come back to the Southwest region to look at the fixtures in terms of match day 3 for the Southwest Regional League, which is going to commence on Saturday, the 6th of April, and it's going to be at in Boya at 2 p.m. Sinodem FA is actually going to lock horns with Kamto Sports Academy. Meanwhile, 4 p.m. Fako United against Boya United FC. Meanwhile, at Memeside over there in Kumba at 11:30, Wasopito is going to lock horns with Bright Stars FC. 1:30, Future Dreams against Kameni FI. 3:30 p.m. Legend against Kumba City Football Club. Meanwhile, in Tiko, it's going to be Dream Soccer that is going to play against Best Stars Academy. 3:30, Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera Sports Academy will play against Option Sport. Meanwhile, on Sunday, the 7th of April 2024, in Boya, Continental FA will clash against Tico United at 3:30 still. Talented will play against Ates, and Kumba City is exempted in terms of this particular match day of the Southwest Regional League. And that's the fixtures for the weekend for those who are eager to come back to the stadium to have a glance of what will be transpiring in terms of the Southwest Regional League. That is the fixtures for this particular weekend. Saturday and Sunday, you have to make your way either in Kumba, Limbe, Boya, or Tico. And that is it in terms of the sports updates for today on the High Sports Television. We'll take on this break, and when we come back, we are going to be dissecting the very pertinent issues, especially that of the newly appointed coach that was equally released by the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education. And you will want to participate in this particular discussion alongside to my guests. Either you call us or you send us a text message through WhatsApp or normal message. I will definitely read out your contributions. We'll take on this break, and when we come back, we'll go into real issues. If you are just joining us, you haven't missed a lot as we are getting to the heater part of this particular edition here on High Television, where our first topic of discussion is going to be Lions Den Fecafoot versus the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education. And yes, this is in response to some of the informations that you have been seeing on social media about the newly appointed coach by the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education alongside the other technical team. And many are saying that we have gone back to the foreign age, but I'm not going to equally let the cat out of the bag in terms of this particular discussion, as I have two fine gentlemen here that are going to be telling me what they think about this whole controversy between the Federation and equally the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education. And I'm going to begin by my left is a household name, Jamie Ateke. Good evening and thanks for joining us on today's edition of High Sports.
Yeah, good evening to Sunita, good evening to the televiewers out there, and good evening to Boris and the televiewers.
And I'm sure that you must have been very full since the weekend in terms of a lot of persons who have been anticipating already in terms of who is going to replace Coach Vico Bessong, despite several speculations about Jose Mourinho. And I think that another controversy has been put onto the pipeline in terms of the Ministry of Sports Education's own release for the technical or the coaching department for the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon and what the Federation is saying. Genuinely, what's your take about this whole issue?
Well, normally, yes, we've had a series of information about the appointment of top-class coaches like Jose Mourinho, Hervé Renard. Where we're looking at Jose Mourinho coming from a marketing perspective. You understand that he will bring a lot of sponsors for the federation or the ministry. Also, if they had that in mind, to have contacted Jose Mourinho. But however, those were just mere stories for the media to keep the audience updated on what is happening. That was the same thing we had before Conceição was appointed, and it came to pass that Conceição was appointed. So it was the issue here we are talking here is we don't care who is in the face of whoever is appointed. What we need is a person who comes in with a philosophy, because the philosophy is what we need, the identity, where your game style, the play style, the formation, what is it all about? If you look at it, we can see that, okay, we can play the long balls, we can play the short balls, we can play the football on the ground or the crosses. That's what we want to see. So no matter who they have brought, the Belgian, it's just for the football lovers to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yes, the ministry had mentioned that they don't want a local coach anymore, so they want an expatriate. That was their initial perception, and so they had to bring it to the limelight, and it was a Belgian, and so they brought in the assistance from local coaches, or the local coaches. If you look at the assistants and the team managers and the rest, you see that they come from their nationals from Cameroon, and that's what they think can work for our national football team, based on the instructions which the President of the Republic had given the Ministry of Sports to do a kind of adjustment within the national team. But maybe that was misconcepted by the ministry on grounds that you don't just come directly. You need to talk with the federation on what type of coach do you need to ensure that we get into the various competitions proper. However, that was not met, and that's where the controversy now comes in. I think for me at this point in time, it's a kind of football karma that is haunting the federation at this point in time, because 2 years ago the federation made a decision which contradicted the decision of the Ministry of Sports, where the minister himself went to the state media to announce the extension of the previous coach, Conceição then, and a few days later we heard that upon instructions from the head of state appointing Rigobert Song-Bahana, which normally FECAFOOT is, I think the federation is not actually understanding the laws of the game. Yes, FECAFOOT, by that law in 2014, says the federation has the right. Yeah, but you come to a point where who pays the coach? That's the Ministry of Sports pays the coach. So FIFA has shown us that football works in diplomacy. That is why Ahmad was quick enough to congratulate the likes of Nana Akufo-Addo for being the chairman of ECOWAS. He was not doing that because he wanted to do it, but because football has a link. Every sports institution must collaborate with government for that particular institution to grow. So if the federation did not collaborate with the Ministry of Sport back then it is but normal that the Ministry of Sport will do same once they got the instructions from the head of state. So those are the things which, when you do them, you forget about those things, and when they haunt you back, you start complaining. It's not about complaining. The federation needs now to succumb to what the ministry has offered, because normally the federation needs to propose the coach to the ministry for approval, and then the financial terms, in terms of financial terms, if it's okay by the ministry, then they go ahead to appoint the coach and to sign the contract. But now that was not done in the case of Rigobert Song-Bahana. Now the president has given the ministry the go ahead that appoint a coach, and they have done it. So if the federation is coming out to say they are not, it's because they did not play their role well. As a federation, the Ministry of Sports is the overall body of the various sporting disciplines. So there is a need for you to create that relation between you and the sport ministry on how Cameroon football can grow. You have a technical director. I think if the federation was wise enough, or was succumbed enough, or was diplomatic enough, that way is better, they would have met the Ministry of Sport and say, okay, if you are the one to select the coach, you need now, okay, we have a technical director, or a sporting director, we can put it that way, who is in charge of selecting players and so forth, assisting the coach. Now, in a case where we don't have a coach, the sporting director goes in. That's the case now with Arsenal. If you look at Edu, he's a sporting director of Arsenal. If tomorrow Arteta is sacked and Arsenal can't get an interim coach, Edu simply comes in to coach the boys because he was also part of the various deals signed by these players at Arsenal. That's how football works. If the federation was wise enough, we could have at least one friendly this window. What we just needed was from the federation was that loyalty. That okay, this is what is happening. We are not happy. Meet the ministry and say, okay, we have a sporting director. Can we use him as an interim so that we have a friendly match? Those are things that you do for the betterment of football, but because of interest and so forth, who is who and who is who. That's why you see all this Cold War coming in as far as our football is concerned. But the coach is already there, so we just have to toe the line.
That's to you. The coach is already there. And by my right here is no other person than Mauricio Sono. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. You're welcome.
Good evening to you, Sonita, and good evening to Jamie, and good evening to all the listeners.
Maurice, I know that you have been following what has been going on in terms of this particular issue of Fecafoot saying they were taking an aback and equally the federation, the ministry going straight away to do what they thought was best. But now my question lies in terms of communication. Can you say that these two parties did not have an effective channel of communication, which has resulted to what we are seeing? The ministry releasing a whole technical team, including a coach, and Fecafoot Bureau comes out on their Facebook page saying that they are not aware, or they are not aware that this particular coach has been appointed and all that. To you, what do you make of it?
First of all, I think it's ill time from the Cameroon Football Federation to come out without communication. It's not a communique, it's a communication. What they did, I like the word that they used, Fecafoot communication, because it wasn't signed. So that information that was put out on Facebook, you don't know it was authored by the president. If it was signed by the president, then it would have been another ball game. So I like the technicality in what they did in the communication. But to me, I think it's ill time. You don't fight, they always say, you don't fight the hand that feeds you. Like what Jimmy has said, Cameroon, the continent, is one of those peculiar country that operates totally different from the others. This cannot, in code, happen in Nigeria. It's going to be difficult. Ghana is trying the same, but Ghana is way independent with the GFA, the Ghana Football Federation. They have the latitude to appoint a coach. That is stated clearly. But with Cameroon, it's not the same. And I don't think it started yesterday. It didn't start yesterday. Remember, like Jimmy said, what happened with the appointment of Rigobert Song? It was through the Ministry of Sport. What happened with Conceição? It was through the Ministry of Sport. What happened with Clarence Seedorf? Through the Ministry of Sport. So it is not like it is something new, the way people are saying at the moment, that hey, there's a Cold War. There's no Cold War going on. Like you said, it's the aspect of communication. To me, I don't see that as any Cold War. I just feel like the communication there isn't really fluent between both parties. And if you look at the communication that has been done now, there's going to be a liaison officer between the ministries, Ministry of Sports and equally the national team to link the passage. So at the moment, I just feel like there really needs to be a discussion because, like Jimmy said, one thing we have to understand is that it is the ministry that pays the salary of the coach and even the bonuses that the players ask for. It doesn't come from the Fecafoot, it comes from the Ministry of Sports, and in terms of the competition that they are in, that the money is released. Like last time around, the FIFA World Cup, the money was made available from FIFA, distributed to the players. So it's a very dicey scenario. What I just feel like is that two elephants are fighting at the moment for control of the national team. And who pays the price? The way says the grass, and the grass here has to do the players, and equally us, the fans who follow the football. There's something that we have to make clear here. For FECAFOOT to say that it was a unilateral, I use the word unilateral because that's the word that they use, it was a unilateral decision. Unilateral means that it was taken solely by the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education, and FECAFOOT was not consulted. I beg to disagree. I don't have all the facts. They might be right, they might be wrong. I don't have all the facts, and I'm only speculating at the moment. I don't feel like the decision can be taken unilaterally. Why? Because when the president, during the 11th February Youth Day message, he made it clear, I have given high instruction to the Ministry of Sports to look into this problem of the national team. Meaning that the ministry is not working on its own. The ministry did not just get up today and say we're going to appoint a new coach. No. I'm coming to the point. I want to make a point clear because the wording that was used, like I said, they know why they use the word. I'm not against them using the word. It's their discretion to use the word. But we're looking at it from both ways. It's not to say that FECAFOOT is right. We have to look at it also in another way. And also have to look at the ministry's point of view. They are not entirely correct. Because like they say, the text is clear. It is FECAFOOT to choose. But can FECAFOOT say clearly that they have been following the text 100%? No. So it is not all about saying that this one is right, this one is wrong. But let's go back to the point that I was making. That we're looking at it from the point of view that the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education is not working on its own. They had the instruction. So if they had an instruction to do something, then they are bound to carry out that instruction that was given to them by the boss. And the boss is the president of the country. Is it right? Then we start asking the question, is it right? We say no. Why? Because it is the discretion of the country's FA to be in charge of making sure that they organize the national team by getting the adequate coach, the adequate technical staff, without include the interference from the Ministry of Sports. But the Ministry of Sports is in charge of footing the bills, and they all want to come in to look at one way or the other to make sure that things are going well. The question that most people ask is that, is there going to be a normalization committee with include this interference? I said no, and I will say it again, no. Why do I say so? If FIFA did not step in when Ministry of Sports signed the contract of Rigobert Song, do you think that they will step in now when Mr. Mark Breeze is being given the duty of the national team? I say no. If the ministry had stepped in to fire Samuel Eto'o, then there would have been a problem. FIFA will step in because of what that is infringement on the activities of the FA. If the Ministry of Sports and the Cameroon government has stepped in to cancel the Elite One Football Championship, then that is total interference. FIFA will step in. But in terms of the national team, like I said, it is a political affair. FIFA is a political entity. They go where they know that they can punch, and they regress when in an area where they know they cannot fight well. But it's all in all, like Jimmy said, the new man is there. We can talk about these things till now, till tomorrow, because there are a lot of angles that we can actually look at it, but I'll just leave it at the moment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Solo. Like you earlier said, the new technical team has already been put in place. What we can only do is pray for better results for this particular team that have been appointed by the Ministry of Sports and Physical Education. I will talk about head coach Mark Breeze, first assistant coach is Omana Big, second assistant coach Ashu Bisong, goalkeeper coach is Alion Buka, team manager Danny Nukan, and physical trainer Christophe Munivia, team press Jamen Noel Esenge, and that is the technical team that has been put in place by the Ministry of Sport and Physical Education. Mark Breeze has a lot of experience in terms of the coaching department. That's about a couple of since 1980, if I'm not making a mistake. Jamie, I take care to you. Do you think that there is going to be a new wind blowing through the Indomitable Lions then in terms of this new technical team that has been appointed since yesterday?
Well, I think if you look at it normally, like I said, we don't look at a person who has been appointed. We look at what he brings in to the football team. Yeah, he's his little name in football. That's what I've always been anticipating, because when we talk about these top coaches coming in, at the end we are going to have this little name coming in. We've had another one again. So if he has the power, that's why he has Oman Biyik, because when you look at it, Oman Biyik worked with Consensao, and that's where now the karma comes in, because those were people who were sacked by Eto, who were recommended to be sacked by Eto under Consensao, Oman Biyik and Alimbuka. So we have those people coming back. They worked with Consensao, and this is the third time we've had Oman Biyik working with as an assistant with coaches. He worked with the likes of Javier Clemente in 2011. He worked with Consensao, and now he's now to be partnering with the Belgian who is coming in. And with bringing such people, though the coach might not have the knowledge of Cameroon football, he should be able to have some philosophy which is going to implant into the boys. What he just needs now from the assistant is to look at the players who can actually fit into the philosophy. If at all he has one, but we are going to see that in June, because the first real tax is against Cape Verde and Angola. And so if he has a good philosophy, then Oman Biyik Alimboka will be in a better place to drill him on the type of players whom I need of that particular philosophy. So I'm not really looking at his statistics yet. He's not yet coached the national team in his career. He's always been around clubs from Belgium to Netherlands to Saudi Arabia and so forth, but he's not had an experience coaching the national team. So this is the first experience, and so we just need to give. We've seen coaches. Hugo Bruce never had a good history. Consensao Sim never had that real good history, but he came into Cameroon, made some history for himself. Likewise, Hugo Bruce, and so we should give them a benefit of a doubt to see how they work in seeing that Cameroon qualifies for the FIFA World Cup. So that's what I think. And the federation just need to align, because they, even if at all they said the ministry appointed Rigobert Song, it was against their wish, because the Ministry of Sports was reluctantly accepting that decision. Yes, they were reluctantly accepting that decision. That's why they had to. It's like they are doing eye for an eye, yeah, against the federation. But now they are the ones, they are acting based on the instructions of the head of state. So the fact that it was a unilateral decision, it is unilateral in a kind of, if you look at it deeply, it's unilateral, because if it was a bilateral decision, normally you would call the federation. There should have been a tete-a-tete discussion between the ministry and the federation on the possibilities, or the ministry himself should have given an ad hoc committee, like what Ghana did. Ghana set up a commission to appoint a coach. That should have been what the ministry should have done. The ministry should have said, okay, you federation, go and look for a coach and bring to us. Let's see how we can. That's what
I think that's the aspect of communication I was talking about between the two parties.
So that communication never went second free. That's why the ministry had to go on to appoint the coach. That's why the federation too has an argument that it was a one-sided decision, which so when we look at all this, is I think the ministry and the federation, the two bosses draw eyeball to eyeball.
Which that's what
because we have somebody like Benjamin Bandler coming back. It tells you the conflict that the Ministry of Sports is trying to create. That's the person who was sacked by Eto or suspended by Fecafoot, and all those old guards who were sacked or proposed sacked by the federation are coming back. So it tells you that it's a kind of cold war. That's why I say it's a cold war. But we might not see it's a cold, because the people who are coming back are, like, in quote, enemies of the federation, whom were declared surplus to requirements a few years ago, and are the ones coming back. It shows that there is a kind of blockage that the ministry is trying to create to limit the powers of the federation. So all that.
I think so. If I might just come into the point that Jamie made earlier, The first point I want to look at it stems from the aspect of the ad hoc committee that Jim is talking about. Remember that the Bureau, that's Africa Food Executive Body, they held a meeting after the, in quote, dismal performance of the Lions at the AFCON. Can you tell me for certain, Sonita, that there has been any resolution that was brought from that meeting, aside from that the president wanted to resign? Yeah. They had a meeting. No, I'm coming because it's a pertinent point that we're looking at here. That they had a meeting to discuss on the performance of the Lions during the Africa Cup of Nations. Till now, I might be wrong. That's what I'm asking. I might be wrong, but I've not seen any other communique as to the evaluation of the Lions then, or of the Lions during the AFCON. But we heard only about that the president wanted or stabled his resignation and it was refused. So I don't know if there was any other communique, because you need to look at evaluation, like Jimmy is saying. You need to evaluate. In any competition, whether you go to AFCON qualifier or not, there must be evaluation. It must not be two communiques that you send out, but inside there must be internal evaluation. You must identify what were the areas that we had, the lapses, and what can we do to address it. My second point here is this. I am totally not happy. Let me just be frank. Why do I say so? It's high time we start building our own. It is not expatriates that will give us the best. The other expatriates who have done good. Irina has done well with Zambia. Not taking that entirely away from him. What has MS Faye done with Ivory Coast? He went all the way and won the AFCON. He's a local coach. Can't we build our own? There are a lot of quality players, coaches in Cameroon who are performing well with clubs in the Elite Championship, Elite 2, and so on and so forth. I go back to the case where I said this month, since the likes of Rigobert Song was removed from, or his contract was not extended in February, this is March. So it is 1 month. Couldn't we have gotten a local coach to be in that position as an interim? And like what Jamie said, we had a friendly game, or we had a FIFA window. We didn't have even a single friendly game. So can't we have a local coach given the opportunity? We had Rigobert Song. Many are saying that was a local coach. But I keep going back to the point of view that Rigobert Song was given this duty very, very early. Why do I say so? We go back to look at his track record. He didn't have a good track record. Let's be honest with ourselves. He didn't have a good record before taking the big job. If Rigobert Song would have been in a position like an assistant somewhere, let's say under Conceição, and then you start Conceição after 2 years, you give the position to Rigobert Song. Rigobert Song has that experience. But look at this time with the Chan and the Olympic Lions. It didn't go well. So we should be able to say that and be frank with ourselves. And this guy who is coming, I just see him as Rigobert Song Pro Max. Why do I say so? I'm of the opinion that we should give people the opportunity, but we have to also look at ourselves. Did we give Rigobert Song the opportunity? Every day we're blasting him on air and so on and so forth. He was not doing this, he was not doing that, so. This guy, look at his record. It is almost like Rigobert Song. I'm not saying that is the same. Which top club has Mr. Brace coach? His last top club was Leuven in the Belgian national, in the Belgian League A. Aside from that, he has a 33% win rate.
But I think I should cut you short. Remember what Jamie earlier spoke about? Hugo Boss did not have a good record. Conceição, the same thing, but they were given the opportunity.
Okay, Rigobert Song did not have a good record. But what happened with it? We did not give him the opportunity. There is what I'm saying so is this. Because the idea that most of the time I'm getting is that this guy doesn't have a good track record, we should give him the opportunity. That's the idea. Even when I spoke with a couple of other individuals, who were like, yes, he didn't have a good record, or he's not a big name, But let's give him an opportunity and see how he can do to transform the country. But I'm going back to say that Rigobert Song too did not have a good record. But what did we do? We didn't give him that leeway. I go back to saying that, yes, Rigobert Song in his tenure, 2 years, he was one of the most hated coaches. I can prove that. Almost everybody you talk with did not like Rigobert Song. We'll go back to tell you that his time at the Chan or the were disastrous. That's to tell you that this guy too did not have a good record. So why didn't we give him the opportunity to? Like what we're saying now, that we should give Mark Breeze the opportunity to transform the national team. No, I know the angle that you're coming from, Jimmy. But sometimes
that is his contract. We should make this clear.
Yeah.
He's the only coach in the last
3 or 4.
In the last, I think, in the last 15 years, he's the only coach that's exceeded his 2-year contract.
Yes.
Even Bruce was appointed in 2016. He was sacked in 2017. Konisa was appointed in 2020. He was sacked in 2022.
Yeah.
Because his contract was
renewed but sacked. So.
Yes, renewed but sacked. You had how do they call him? Fokafinki.
Clients said of the same
so
thing.
This is the only coach that we've had.
Yeah, Jimmy, my point. No.
He was given an opportunity.
No, he wasn't. No, let's see. No. See,
we should make this point clear. He was the only coach after Fokafinki to qualify Cameroon for 2 major tournaments in separate years. Because Fokafinki qualified us first for World Cup 2014, then qualified us for AFCON 2015. That's the only coach, because Paul Oguen qualified us for the AFCON and the World Cup in the same year. That time the World Cup was playing at the AFCON simultaneously in the same year. So since then, we've never had a coach that qualified us for 2 major tournaments. Yeah, he was given his chance.
No, he wasn't. Jimmy, see, let's be frank with ourselves. Let's be frank with ourselves. Rigobert Song wasn't given the opportunity 100%. Let's say it frankly here. The reason why I say so is because of this. Almost every day that we had an opportunity and people had the opportunity to dissect Rigobert Song, 90% of it wasn't positive. Every day we're like, Rigobert Song should go. Rigobert Song is not the man at the helm. Rigobert Song is this. No, let's be frank with ourselves. Even when I go down to the field to conduct interviews, 90% was it, Rigobert Song doesn't have a good track record, he should go. So when we are saying, I'm just looking at the issue of this, that in as much as we're saying that we should give this guy a chance, we should know that he too doesn't have a good record.
What are you
to take Cameroon to the next level. I started by saying this, that I am disappointed. Okay. Remember, I said so at the start. I know. I started it. No,
because
I used the word.
We've always. Why I'm saying that we should not be disappointed is that before an appointment of a coach, we always have top coaches.
Very true.
And
speculation. Yes.
And at the end of the day, we go and pick people from Ukraine and then now we have picked one for Belgium, this one for Belgium. So we should not be surprised not having this man. Me, I'm not surprised.
Jimmy, the reason why I say I'm surprised is because of this. There are a couple of coaches at the moment who could have gone for. Remember, I know there are a couple of names that were thrown. One, Hugo Broos. We cannot get Hugo Broos because Hugo Broos did not have a good time when he departed. Remember what happened with Hugo Broos. Secondly, Conceição. It's not. That's what, like what Jimmy said. Like what Jimmy said, that is a cold war. Remember, they brought individuals who did not have a good time with. So do you think that they will be coming with a good mindset? No. Secondly, they talked about Conceição. We are still owing Conceição 1 billion. We have not even paid him. So you don't expect to bring him again and he will accept to come when we owe him 1 billion. That aside, it's very important to state this, that we need to look at a long-term strategy. And the long-term strategy has to be a local-based coach.
That's the process.
That is to me. And I always say it. And look at what is happening with Ghana. Ghana have gone back to Otto Addo. Even though he didn't have a good record, what happened? They've gone back to their local-based coach. Not necessarily Baker, but any individual from Ghana. Why? You need to be able to fall back to an individual who you trust. But in Cameroon, can you tell me that there's anybody that if Mark Breeze leaves now, who can fall back to in Cameroon? None. There's no clear-cut individual which Fecafoot has identified or the ministry has identified that this is somebody that we can build up to take over the national team? There's none. You want to tell me that there's nobody in Cameroon that can really be of that standard of the national team? There are a couple of names we can throw here. There are a couple of names, well-qualified individuals. Individuals who have even CAF licenses. Don't tell me that we cannot bring them in as assistants. Yes, we are going with Oman Big. Oman Big, what has he done in coaching? No, let's be saying things frankly. What has he done in coaching? I might be wrong, but it's for the listeners out there to prove me wrong, to tell me that, okay, no, this is what Oman Big has done as a coach. This is what he has coached. These are the clubs that he has coached. So and so. Can we say, yeah?
We have a reaction here from Mr. Lawrence Kende, who says that Mark Boyes is Cameroon new footballer coach, 42nd coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon since 1960, and the 7th coach in the last decade, making an average of less than 1.5 years for coaches to sit at the helm of the team. This statistics goes in line with Coach Brice, as he has never been more than 3 years in the club, and this will be his first African experience. Just like most of his predecessors in the coaching job, he is an unknown figure who is coming into the Lions Den to unite and once more try to build a team. He will face fierce criticisms from fans and part of the media houses, as he's coming at the time where the football family is grossly divided. He's expected to build and qualify the team Cameroon to the World Cup and upcoming Nations Cup. Mark Boyes, he goes as far as giving us Mark Boyes statistics. Matches as coach, 560, victories 214, defeat 196, draws 150, goals scored 823, and goals conceded 801, with a winning average of about 38%, and his preferred playing format is 3-4-2-1. And he says kudos, and is extending his good thanks to Jamie Ateke. Thank you very much, Mr. Lawrence, for contributing on today's program. But now there's something very touching in terms of what Mr. Lawrence earlier spoke about in terms of the criticisms that Brice is actually going to face, especially when he comes in a time where there is a lot of Cold War, like Jambia earlier said, and for him to be able to give. Now, the question we ask ourselves is, I'm going to start with Jambia Teke before I go to you, Brice. I know you're hot and you really want to express yourself. Now, in terms of this particular, do you think that with the pressure at the level, or the pressure that is right now, do you think that Mark is definitely going to deliver? In as much as we are saying that since the ministry has taken over, there is going to be less interference, like how many persons have been saying.
Well, I think normally at this point in time, he's a 50-50. I could say that because we still go back to that. If we had football, if we want to regroup our national football team after that disappointing performance at the AFCON, this should have been like the case we mentioned, putting interim. In 2010, we had a disappointing performance at the FIFA World Cup, and Paul Le Guen was shown the door, and we brought in Alexander Bellinga, who was interim, who led the team until the appointment of Javier Clemente, who came in, though Javier Clemente failed to qualify us for the AFCON in 2012. But I think there was a kind of collaboration then, putting Alexander Bellinga as interim. Now, at this point in time, the coach knows nobody. He knows that he's coming to a strange land. His first experience is to coach a national team. He doesn't know the players. That's why they had to bring in people like Oman Big and Alumbe Buka, who had been there, who had seen sometimes with these players. Yeah. Recently, they were there under the reign of Kosisawo, and they've been monitoring the young players and so forth around the world, assumingly. But it's going to be difficult. But it shouldn't have been difficult if we had an interim during this FIFA window. He should have been the one to lead the team maybe to 1 or 2 friendly, and then while waiting for the new coach, who comes in like Brice have come in or has come in to be appointed as new coach, then he now meets the interim and say, okay, these are the players whom I think can fit in. So that's why I say it's a 50-50. Now he's coming in, we just have to play, he's trying to play now, which might not be visible, because playing the now to say we want results, whereas the coach is just coming and he doesn't have any time to assemble the players on one gathering to have a kind of match to play.
And you know, this issue of gathering has been one of our greatest weaknesses. When we are preparing for a big competition, we only have to meet with players in 2 weeks' time, players that have never.
So that's why I still come back to this point of Kama, because Robertson Bana succeeded it was just, I think, that fighting spirit. The boys knew that World Cup was dear to them. Because even the Robertson Bana's appointment, I criticized it. I said you cannot appoint a coach 2 weeks to a crucial match like Algeria. It was just, I think, the hand of God just came in again, and so those are the things. It's about karma, because we are looking at crucial games in June, and we wasted up to 2-3 months after the AFCON to appoint a new coach, where the FIFA window only comes in that particular match of Angola and Cape Verde. So this thing is karma. Karma is facing. So the foot should just align with what they have. I think the coach, we just hope that since the old guards are coming back, they might just find a small way to see the type of players can use. Like I said, if he has a good philosophy, the assistants will be in a better place to tell the coach that, okay, this is your philosophy. Is it the long ball or the kind of system like he's trying to play 3 defense and 4 midfield and so forth? These are the players who are in need of that particular strategy. That's what I think can be his help at this point in time. But like I said, it's still a karma, because we are appointing coaches at the brink of time when we are playing a crucial game, just like what we did again with the case of the Robertson Bana, playing Algeria 2 weeks. Then you sack Conceição and bring in Robertson Bana. Though he changed water into wine by qualifying us for the AFCON, for the World Cup, but this is another moment which can we get 6 points from those 2 games.
Well,
I know you have a
no, I just wanted to just
very
very briefly from him there.
Okay.
The only wish that I have at the moment is that a lot of things will not change, because most of the players, quality of them are already there. Goalkeeper, we know the battle is between Andre Onana. No, I didn't say Ondua, please. I said the battle is between Andre Onana and another goalkeeper. Reason why I say so, let's be frank with ourselves. Ondua has not played any game.
I knew you were going
right?
to.
No, we should. I hope that the coach will be bringing players who are playing, and I hope that that is why I'm going to, and I hope that the coach will have time or delegate. Remember, he has 4 assistants, not 2. 4. He's coming with 2, and the country has bought 2. So he has 4 assistants. I hope that these assistants can go down to the local level and watch quality players. Let's get our top striker. Even if he doesn't play, let's put him in the national team. You cannot score 19 goals and then you don't even feature in the national team. You are not even on the waiting list. But yet individuals who are not playing are called up to the national team. That's the only thing I want to see change from this guy who is coming.
Okay, thank you very much, Boris Asolo. We'll go straight away to take on these other contributions, and it's from Andy Esunga, who says, "Good evening, guys. Great debate out there. Mark Brice is not a trophy-oriented coach. He's only won just 1 trophy as a coach, and that was in 2005. Is this the person we want to put our hopes in? He's had so many coaching chances than some, but nothing to show off. We are heading for another wasted area. Another premature sacking is looming." I think I should throw this particular question to you, as Andy Esunge says. Do you think it's going to be another wasted area in terms of the coaching department for our national team?
Well, like our sports encyclopedia said, he said the average of 1 year, 4 months. We have 1 year, 4 months of coaches staying for the last decade. Now, if you look at the track record, they've done something that I've impressed, qualifying for competitions. For Kafinke qualified us for the AFCON and World Cup. Clarence Seedorf came in, or rather Hugo Bruce came in and qualified us for the AFCON and won it. He failed to qualify us for the World Cup, and because of his communication, he had to cough out some dirty things that were happening in the national team. And then he had to went into conflict with the authorities then, and then we had Clarence Seedorf. So you see that each coach who came in either qualified us or did something that gave Cameroonians some hope. So we should not write Mark Brice out. He too is coming from a no name. We've seen coaches who have come to Cameroon and made the name for themselves, and we've seen like Hugo Bruce. We saw how he did that as a case study. We've seen Konsesao too, leading us to the semi-finals. It was really an achievement. Yeah. So we should not, like I said, the timing for his appointment is going to be difficult. Now he's thinking now on how he can be able to assemble the players at least 2 weeks before the game against is it Cape Verde or Angola in June. That is his first objective. After the leagues end in Europe, he should have the first camping session at least before 2 weeks, so that he knows the players so well. If we can even play a local club before those top games, then he picks something overnight and see how he can battle with those two teams in June. Then it's a good start for him. So that's where now the two assistants now come in. They don't really help in local players. They help also international players, because they will know the type of players to call and ensure that these players will work with them in so and so era. And so we think they can best suit, though we are working now on the young generation, because you should not be looking at putting the likes of Choupo-Moting, Abubakar in their future. They should be looking at those young lads. Who can they pick in the AFCON team that they can bring to ensure that they suit into the philosophy of what this new man is bringing in. So that's where now the discussion. So there is these 4 or 5 guys who have been brought in to lead the Lions should now be discussing on the way forward. That's what I think. And instead of the federation now to actually be saying unilateral decision or whatever, one-sided, they should be able to empower these people. Now you say, okay, people have come in. This is what you need. Help them now to achieve what they have to achieve at the national team. So we just hope that things move on well and see that we get positive results, because if we don't get it, then it's going to be much more pressure on those that appointed him.
And definitely, if we want to talk about this new appointment, especially from somebody like Bruce, I think we are going to see him.
No.
You should give me your last word in terms of this particular appointment and the coach.
Well, for last word, I don't feel like it's the last word, because we have no. I'm not talking about it like today. I'm just saying the last word, not entirely, because we can still meet again to discuss on this particular aspect. Because it's something that changes often. Remember, Fecafoot said they're going to respond, and so the response of Fecafoot will detect our next discussion. If at all Fecafout is signing off, it's a developing story. But I think the one word that I've heard today, or all today, is that we should give him time. He should be able to scout for the talented and deserved players.
The boys, just a question. How will he do that when he's just having a taste of the African football? Remember, he has no experience.
But coaches start from somewhere. Even if Vegena did not have experience before he went to Zambia. That's what we're saying. So you must start from somewhere. He's starting from somewhere as a national team coach. Like I said, my problem is this. When we keep going back to the point of signing up. At the moment he has been appointed, but he has not put pen to paper. So we don't know the exact length of his contract and the deal and so on and so forth. So when he finally puts pen to paper, I would like him to do what is called evaluation. Go to the various clubs, identify with the assistants of the local base assistant coaches that have been brought in to identify the key players that fit in his system. we should not be surprised that the list of Robertson is maintained. As the players who were called by Robertson is maintained, because you cannot change everything. You can change one or two players and we do a blend. But in terms of the goalkeeping department, I know it's already certain. Remember, Katoko can be retired. So we have to look at the possibility of a new striker at the moment who can get us the goal apart from Vincent Boubacar. Vincent Boubacar has dropped down at the moment. He's 10 as far as scoring goals at the moment. So there's a lot of work he has to do within, like Jimmy said, the shortest possible time, because you have the next window that's coming up in June for the qualifiers of FIFA World Cup. And if he doesn't qualify us to the World Cup, do we say now that he has to be sacked? So those are the things that we have to really look at it. AFCON qualifier and the World Cup. So I think Mr. Mark Briggs has a lot of work ahead of him. That's not to say that he cannot succeed, because every individual, every coach takes upon himself to go in terms of a job and deliver to the best of his ability. The same thing happened with our man Coach Gikang, who took over the position at Victoria United to the best of her ability. Same too as the guy who was just coming, Dimitar Panter, who took over Victoria United to the best of ability, qualified them to the elite level. So every coach wants to take a job and do it to the best of his ability. Yes, they fall short sometimes, but they will tell you that they went there and did to the best of their ability. The last point, interference. Interference from who? You are the judge. I just use the word interference. You should be allowed to do his job. If he says this is my player, this is his player. No interference for him to succeed. Thank you.
Ethically, in reality, like I asked Jamie Atike, do you think, let's look at the way we govern our various organizations. Remember that he will put in the money sometimes. We want to interfere in terms of
no. But in terms of the national team, in as much as you want to interfere, if the coach says one fight Collins, it is not for somebody else to bring a player who hasn't played any game, warming the bench consistently, and we bring him. Whereas there's another person in Cameroon who he plays in the goalkeeping department very well, he's outstanding, but yet we decided to keep them aside and go for another person who is in code warming the bench, and another individual who is playing in the goalkeeping department. It's not even in the first team, but in the reserve, consistently being called. So Sunita, if I want to talk about this particular aspect, we can stay from now till tomorrow. Remember, we went to the AFCON with 4 goalkeepers. To do what with 4 goalkeepers?
That's
to do what? So, like I said, yes, you pay the pepper there the tune, but like I said, if a coach wants to succeed, he must be able to have a free hand in calling the players. That's why we cannot get Jose Mourinho. Definitely. Jose Mourinho never allowed that. And remember, Jose Mourinho's salary is 70% of Fecafoot's budget.
Jose Mourinho
70%.
Coming in, we can take Mourinho, but it depends now on the sensitivity of the media marketing department. Because Mourinho comes with a lot of media exposure, media attention, and so once you have Mourinho, you can make money from Mourinho without even you.
Very true.
So I don't know whether they even had that in mind. They just want.
No, but Mourinho. I think Mourinho had said it clearly that he's not at the moment in terms of coaching the national team. He wants to go back to Europe. You remember he had an opportunity to coach in Saudi Arabia, but he refused. A lot of money, a huge amount. He said it clearly. Huge amount was offered to him, and he refused, and he turned it down. Decided to stay with AS Roma. And what happened? How did AS Roma pay him back? They sacked him.
Yeah, maybe he has unfinished business.
he has unfinished business.
Thank you very much. And yes, we are away from what's happening in terms of Lions Den. Let's go straight away to equally talk about some very interesting moments in terms of our Elite 1 and Elite 2 playoff and play there, and we focus on the Northwest and Southwest team. We are going to kickstart this particular aspect or sector of the program with ISUSA in terms of the Elite 2 play down, where Jimmy Atike has been Arsenal Sports Academy, though not yet on the red zone, but after 3 games played, just 1 win and 2 draws. What do you make of their performance so far?
Yeah, I think
equally,
yeah, for ISOSA, I think it's one of those moments where you have to go through the playoffs. The playoffs is for the experience, and like I said, I've always been saying that this Asosa team, they lack that experience playing away from home. When you see these National League clubs coming to the elite football, that comfort zone, which they always find themselves playing in the Southwest region, going out of the Southwest region has caught up with them. If you look at the normal season, I think out of 5 games they never won any. Yes, away from home. So when they were going to this playoff in Yaoundé, I already foresaw that it was going to be difficult for them to actually maneuver themselves. Yeah. So I was shocked that they've had 4 points because normally they're a good team, but when you talk of experience, this is elite football. This is not regional league football. Now, if you look at the way they threw away 2 goals against ISFAP on the first day, that's already to give you the strong argument. Yes, they bought the best players in the region, but those players psychologically they are comfortable playing here in the Southwest region. But when you take them out, where you see those aggressive fans, usually fans of Dragon, Edin, Frontier Street, those are aggressive fans. You can't play. That's why they were able to let go 3 goals against FAP in the normal league and 2 goals against that same FAP. And we saw how Edin humiliated them in the normal league championship. So at this point in time, with the coming of Ndoko, yes, they had 1 win, 1 draw, but now it's all about to bring them to order psychologically. They need psychological support to ensure that they are calm while playing those games, because now the playoffs is 1 game. You lose all 3 points, you are losing. There is no return leg where you fight for another 3 points again. So once it's lost, it's lost. So now the next is it 4 games or so which is remaining, they should be able to get at least 3 wins, a draw that can save them at this point in time. Because normally, that's why I say that where the pressure lies is the playoffs down for Elite 1, because 5 clubs are going down. But with the playoffs down of Elite 2, it's 3 teams. So if they can fight themselves and get one of those 5 available tickets to save themselves from slumber, they should be able to get 3 wins from the next 4 games or so and 1 draw, then they are safe. I think that should be their objective at this point in time. Yes, the game they lost was a tough opponent, and so you expect such games to happen, such things to happen. We know away from home has always been a problem for us. So I think that win against that 2-0 win was their first away win out of Limbe in this championship. It gives you a picture of how inexperienced they are out of the Southwest. So that's one of their key lapses which they have to identify before it's too late.
And equally, it's Rangers who stands at the 4th position in terms of the classification. Let's focus on Frontier Street of Bamenda, who right from the start of this particular season, they have been limping, and Frontier Street is equally on the red zone in terms of the playoff.
Not really. I feel like Frontier Street had a better regular season than Rangers. I instead wanted to talk about the Rangers of our football. Frontier Street, they have to be very careful. I will hope that all the 3 English clubs can maintain in the MTN Elite Football Championship. That's my wish. And they have 7 more finals to be played for these sides, and they can do it. I expect Frontier Street to do it. I expect Rangers to equally fight for their life, and I expect Isusa equally to fight for their life. Yes, Jimmy is talking about it in inexperience for Isusa, but I just feel like there's just a lapse in judgment in their last game against FC Yaoundé. They were considered a goal at the first minute, and unfortunately they held on and they lost just 1-0. So the other game coming up is against Leopard of Douala. I expect them to win that particular game because they had an easy day against Leopard during the regular season. But like Jimmy will say, it is the play down and anything can happen. It's like a new season at the moment. Yes, you might have won me in the regular season, but the play down is totally different and something can happen. I must say congratulations to Rangers of Bafut. It's a side that I blast a lot during the regular season. Why? Because I know the quality of players Rangers have. But remember, I think I'm still going through my records to see if Rangers of Bafut created history in the Elite 2 to go the entire season without winning any game, if that's ever happened in the Elite 2 Football Championship. And for the very first time in the season, they won a game. and that was the last game.
Yeah.
So I must say
2-1,
congratulations,
2-0.
and that victory took them out of the relegation zone. And another victory
They're
again,
better than Abejes.
definitely, another victory again takes them in a comfortable position in terms of the 3 games coming up. So I think congratulations to the management of Rangers. Yes, they were very poor, dismal in the regular season, but things are changing at the moment. I'm just hoping that it continues. And remember, Rangers has to meet Isosa. That's where another battle comes again. Isosa has to meet Fontaine Street. So are we definitely? So it's going to be very, very tight as far as the championship is concerned.
And that comes again to this issue of this particular format. They should have started from the points. You respect the points. The points as they are.
That was during
Yes, normal season. That's what is done in Belgium and Finland. Where you respect the points. If things were going normally, I think a team like Coton Sport should be at the top. Or Yosa, one of them. You follow back the points, the accumulated points. Let me if Canon now they will
Well,
get
but
points.
Jamie, you think the problem with that aspect now is this? Remember, we are not following the same system in Belgium. Belgium plays a single
We
league.
don't want a situation where
Yeah.
a team that had
Hello.
how do I put it? The
Perform well, yeah.
zero perform well. See what was happening to Canon. See what's happening to Dynamo. See what's happening to Stade now. See what's happening to Coton. If they had those points that came from the regular season, entering into the playoffs would have been a different ball game. That's how you measure the strength. Because now we put everybody on the same slate.
Next season, I think can be better.
maybe
Yeah.
Because
maybe
if you look at two former, remember some of these clubs did not meet each other.
Yeah.
They're meeting each other now in the playoffs, so we cannot really go back and take the points that they
Yeah,
have
because
in the group.
just for
To
it
me,
to-
We are going to see what
yeah, to me
happens
it'd be unfair.
in terms of
Yeah.
that.
But next year,
season,
I think we should
in terms
be
of as they
better.
are struggling to make the League One. And let's talk about PWJ Bamena. I met with you, Boys Solo P. The 3 games, 2 draw, 1 defeat. 2 points.
P should be careful because I see P as one of those sides that could be relegated. Yes, I always have the love for our English brothers to be maintained in their various leagues, but P has not really impressed me. I have not really felt impressed with the performance of P in the playoffs. They impressed me well during the end of the season, but I don't really know what has happened with PWJ Bamenda this time around. Like we always say, things can change, and hopefully the next game for P, they can get a victory and move up the table.
And definitely we go straight away to the play-up in terms of this particular Elite One Championship. Yosa, Victoria United, and over to you, Jimmy Mateke. I know you have a lot to say for these 2 teams.
Well, I think normally that particular game, Yosa, I think against Southwest oppositions, Yosa has had, I think, close to about a 70% win rate. Date back from the days of Njalakwan Sports Academy, Mount Cameroon, and Tico United. So, facing another opponent like Victoria United, to me, yes, they've had equal chance, 1 win each, 1 draw. But Yosa has always have a dominant win rate against teams from the Southwest region in recent times. So, but the game normally, I've always said this: a team that is physically strong always stands tall in such games. I think Jikum Bless has worked these guys so well in terms of physicality, and the little technicality that they have is what they are using to counter their opponents, and reasons why they have 3 wins out of 3. Now against Popo, we expected firepower from the 2 teams because they were actually top 2 teams in their group, and so we expected this fire, but yes, he ended 2-1. It shows that it was really a derby because there was no wide margin of 3-1, 4-1, no. But 2-1, I think we didn't expect football to win. We didn't expect, though we expected, yes, 50-50. But at this point, we say it was due to the, I think, physicality that also occurred in that particular game. The fact that Yosa, they have worked with a manager for a very long time, and this manager has been there. He has the free will to do what he wants. He has worked with them, survived relegation, and transformed the mindset of the players. The club went financial crisis at one point in time, where the fans were the ones supporting the club. And I even had a chat with one of the fans. They said, had it been Yosa went for playoffs, that would have been a different ball game, negatively. But as they are, where they are presently, this is their best season, which they are having since ascension to Elite One in 2009. So now we should say kudos to this guy, Jicom Blaze, for making these guys believe, and the way he managed the guys at times of crisis. There are times when the coach, when you come, when you see that things are not going on or well, that's he tells his players that you are playing for your future. Do not look at the money. I think that those were the issues. Those were the words he gave to those players, and those players had to say, okay, let's go and play. And also the fact that most of their players were declared double identity before, 11 of them. So they came in, they were playing for their players, not playing for themselves. They were playing for those players who were left out. And so with that motivation, which is not backed by financial aspect, going into the game, coupled with the working, the physical trainings and the tactical trainings that Jicom Blaze has implanted in these players, it gives us a picture of why this team is where they are. And with a man like Bosco, who actually is like the pillar of the team, he's had his best season since that season with PWP Bamenda in 2021 when they won the Cup of Cameroon. This is his best season so far. Scoring stats speaks for itself. Accumulation of goals, 11 for assists. So with such a player, everyone knows Yusa will go somewhere. But I fear for the game against Tarina.
Definitely,
but
that's going to be on Friday.
Yeah, I fear for that particular game because they'll be going with the.
David Paku is well armed.
Well, he's well armed, but I fear for the game for Yusa. But I still have a soft spot for them because I think they have shown that they can actually go for the title.
Definitely, and we are preaching Young Sports Academy the best in terms of that game against Stade Renat, and equally Victoria United will be playing Colombe of Ja and Lebo. Before I take leave of you, I think there are some very outstanding players that have been making waves in terms of this particular playoff. We talk about John Bosco, we talk about Richmond in G, we talk about Ko, we talk about Adequan Juma in terms of the elite to actually netted his 7 goal. You can pick one or two and just give you a little.
Well, I don't need to pick because I already have my player at hand. Player of the season to me so far, Chindo John Bosco. Top goal scorer hopefully, Chindo John Bosco. When you see a guy, when you see a captain, when you see a player, you just have to look at the quality of Chindo. The way he plays, the love for Yusa is unmatched. Even when they sing their national anthem, you look at his facial expression, it tells you the hunger this guy has to play. And I feel like this is a guy that we should be spotlighting at the moment. Like you said, there are a couple of individuals we can spotlight, but one of them should be Chindo John Bosco. The guy is just superb at the moment. Top goal scorer in the playoffs. Many would not have expected that. Many would have been expecting a certain Richmond G and certain Jules Amanko at the moment. But I think Chindo has taken it upon himself to carry Yusa to the title. And I believe that they can, because the quality that I have seen for Yusa, I believe that they have the fighting spirit, the fighting for each other, and they want to do everything possible to win their games. I don't feel like the game against Stade Renat is going to be difficult. I've watched Stade Renat. I watched Stade Renat last game, and I bet you Stade Renat was disastrous. And if Yusa plays the way Yusa plays, hands down, Yusa is winning that particular game.
That's true. Remember that?
No, I'm saying so because
they said that the game against Victoria United to them was the final.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying so because I've watched Stade Renat, and I was front and center in Stade Renat's game. Looked at it. No,
Every game
has
strategy.
But now we also should be thinking that okay, we have 9 points.
Definitely.
There's still 5 games to go. If you have in that 5 games, you have Canon, you have Stade Renat, you have Coton Sport. Those are teams you know quite fully well that you grab maximum points. Those are title deciding matches.
Jamie, I use the word that if Stade Renat plays the way it plays, then Yusa will win, because I know why I'm saying so. Stade Renat is not the Stade Renat of the regular season. I don't know if you watch Stade Renat since the start of the playoffs, like consistently. Star Arena have a problem. Where is the problem? Star Arena's problem is the striking department. They have good quality players
Just
in the
like
midfield.
Dinamo.
They have good players in the defense. What happens when they go up the field? They are disastrous. And if, like I said, if USAR plays the way they are playing at the moment, they can easily win Star Arena. Not to say that Star Arena cannot win. We were looking at how they are playing and how Star Arena has been playing. And even David Pagun in the interview was very bitter. He was very bitter that they have a lot of opportunities. They go up there and they miss opportunities. So
And that was
if
what happened between Gazelle and Dinamo.
so if the same thing is happening with Dinamo played well and now in the playoff they are nowhere to be found. Striking too is a problem. So
It looks like Atiba left with a lock.
no. Even when Atiba was there, they didn't have the. If you look at
No, but at
the
least there
point
was one
tally
person you could put
of
the burden on.
he had 6 goals. Let's
Seven.
talk about the other players. How are they contributing? No. So it's not all about one player, and that's why your team should be able to be in a way that you don't only rely on one player. Victor United have a couple of players. If Richmond is not scoring, Jackpa is there to assist. You have Palamba who is there in the midfield to construct the goals. And so there are they are mixing up. Yosa too is mixing up. Duhel is there. They have a couple of players that they can rely on. So it's going to be very difficult. I think the tough task to me, the way I see it, is not against Star Arena. The top game to me, something might happen against Star Arena, but the big game is against Cotton.
That is it. Thank you very
That
much.
is a big game to me that I'm saying.
Producer Swadi is telling us that it's time to go out of the stadium. And yes, and not just the Young Sports Academy in terms of the biggest game for this particular play-up, in terms of the M10 anyone. Even Victoria United, to remember that before the start of this particular competition, Cotton Sport took to their social media handle, their Facebook page, saying that main objective to maintain this particular title, remember that the defending champion, and specific objective to defeat Victoria United. And we are only going to follow this particular competition to see what is going to transpire between the remaining days of play. And yes, it's with this particular talks about the southwest side that are participating in this particular playoff and down, and that we are going to draw the curtains of today high sport. I want to say thank you very much to all those who contributed, Mr. Lawrence and Nikwali, Andy Esunge, and a host of others that haven't been opportune to actually read out their contributions because of time. And to all those who are watching, I say thank you very much, and I can't go without saying a big thank you to Tafo Claudine, who has been behind the scene manipulating and making us fine on air, and equally our editor-in-chief, Alice Likie Ikome. And from me to yours, it's Baba. Pick up the rendezvous with us tomorrow in the morning, as we are going to be giving to you more sports updates on the Elena Bamu Show. Bye-bye for now.